Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. Dunedin City Councillors took their campaign to Otago Museum this week, where health officials were giving updates around the city's new hospital build. The forum was held to address questions from the public and councillors after concerns about planned cuts to the project.
In full campaign mode, Dunedin City Councillors handing out T-shirts and collecting signatures as part of their efforts to prevent cuts to the new Dunedin hospital. They save, we pay is the message they're sending, with the councillors educating members of the public outside the Hutton Theatre on Tuesday night, ahead of a public meeting. That forum was led by health officials from Te Whatu Ora, who answered questions about the cost and design of the hospital build.
The redesign of the inpatient building has pushed the timetable out to a 2029 opening, and where it was a 2028 opening, there's no change to the delivery date for the outpatient building.
The ballooning budget seen cutbacks to the plans, including the size of the pathology department. The new design also drops 12 elderly mental health bed spaces and 2 operating theatres. Health officials couldn't guarantee the $1.58 billion budget wouldn't blow out further, due to rising construction costs. But clinicians involved with the redesign process say there's no room for further cost savings.
There is some concern that there could be an extra 1,000 square metres of workspace shelled, and we're very much concerned that that could take place, and be our advice from the clinical transformation group that that did not occur. We think that would be a significant clinical risk.
Te Whatu Ora maintains much of the $90 million in savings has been through more efficient design methods, rather than cutting clinical capacity. The outpatients building part of the hospital is due to open in 2025. In Dunedin, the South today.
Around 100 people joined together along Queenstown's waterfront this week in a peaceful protest to highlight the resort's serious rental housing crisis. Many of the protesters had personal stories to share as they called for urgent action, with Queenstown's Mayor Glenn Lewis noticeably absent from the event.
It's a situation that affects every part of Queenstown's economy. And on Monday night, workers, residents and employers took to the streets to bring change to the growing housing crisis. With the number of people out of homes continuing to increase, the local duo Hannah Sullivan and Lindsay Waterfield have brought people together to share stories and put a face to those affected.
You're not alone, you're not on your own in this. I think as well, just highlighting to people who are not here maybe that these amount of people, that this is also too many people to have homeless here.
Some brave people have come to tell their experiences of being kicked out for Airbnbs, while others have come in support of the unheard voices.
Then I got given notice last year, and I was in a boarding house, but they kicked everybody else out and decided that they wanted to rent it to a company.
For people 50, way up into the hundreds if they live that long. But I believe it's a very silent community.
Southland MP Joseph Mooney and Queenstown Councillor Craig Ferguson have made an appearance to listen to the protesters and help find a solution to the region-wide problem.
We need an approach from, I think, various players to solve this, and one of them I don't think is exacerbated, to be frank, is the war on landlords that the present government, the Labour government, has instituted.
Hannah Sullivan says this is hopefully the first of many protests yet to come, and believes this is the best way to keep the conversation going. In Queenstown, the South today.
A major Dunedin attraction is warning of a looming funding crisis. Te Hura Otago Museum is calling on the government for urgent support to help maintain their collection of national treasures.
Museum visitors checking out a moa skeleton, currently on display for free in Dunedin. But Otago Museum is soon increasing admission fees for parts of their operation, warning they face a major funding crisis. The museum receives some local ratepayer funding for operational costs, but raises the rest of its budget from entry fees and other commercial activities.
And what's driving this is the significant increase in costs at the museum, and it's getting to a situation now where we really had to increase the prices just to kind of make ends meet.
The cost of updating galleries and exhibitions is also soaring with inflation.
The budget that we get just simply doesn't cover the cost of replacing galleries. So then, times are tough in the museum field. I think almost, I would say that we are the poster child for many of the things that aren't working right in the funding of museums in this country.
The museum is calling on the government to take a bigger role in maintaining the national treasures in the collection. Admission prices for entry to the Tuhura Science Centre and Planetarium will be increasing by $5 next month. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A new project is getting underway in Southland that promises improved satellite technology across Australasia. Southland is aiming to increase the accuracy of location positioning services, and Invercargill is at the forefront of their efforts.
Turning Earth on an exciting new space project. The Space Ops NZ Awarua Satellite Ground Station, just south of Invercargill, will soon have 2 new 11-metre satellite dishes installed. The project aims to provide improved satellite positioning services to Australasia. Minister for Land Information, Damien O'Connor, was in Southland on Friday launching the build.
It'll be far more accurate in the future, it will be more safe for a lot of people who want to get out and use it, and it provides a platform for new businesses, new opportunities.
The Southern Positioning Augmentation Network, also known as SouthPan, is a partnership between Toitu Te Whenua Land Information New Zealand and Geoscience Australia. The project promises satellite positioning 50 times better than the current system, increasing position accuracy from the current 5 metres to as little as 10 centimetres.
Just once again shows that Southland punches above its weight, and collaborating with the West Island over there, and it's actually a huge, on a worldwide scale, such a huge project.
The project will cost $700 million, but the economic benefits for New Zealand alone are estimated to be more than $860 million over the next 20 years. The upgrades will also create a number of new jobs for Southlanders.
Pretty exciting for Southland, because not only do we do that, but there's a mission control centre to be established in Invercargill. That's 6 full-time positions in Invercargill.
The facilities are scheduled for completion in December, with Southpan expected to be functioning by the end of the year as the technology continues to develop. In Invercargill, the South Today.
The future of Dunedin's one-way traffic system was put to a vote as councillors met to debate traffic improvements through the city centre.
The Dunedin City Council voted to proceed with a redesigned one-way system that preserves the existing traffic orientation but also promises improvements for pedestrians and cyclists. It was one of 2 revised options prepared on behalf of Waka Kotahi New Zealand Transport Agency to improve traffic flow, safety and amenities surrounding the new Dunedin Hospital. The council chose to endorse Waka Kotahi's recommendations, ruling out an alternative proposal to make both existing one-way roads into 2-way streets. Dunedin Mayor Jules Raddick stressed that according to the report, keeping the one-way system would be 30% safer than the 2-way option.
You can forget about, is it nice to have and amenity values compared to people will be dying if we change that road to 2-way.
The council voted 10-5 in favour of retaining the one-way system, with several former opponents of the proposal swayed by the revised, more pedestrian-friendly design. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whaiakane, still to come on Southern Newsweek. Local business gets a shot in the arm as the government pours money into a unique Cromwell craft distillery. And a small central Otago town showed off the wares of local and international gin distillers at a brand new festival. Tēnā koe, welcome back. The government has announced a series of investments to help develop more New Zealand businesses in the central South Island. A Central Otago distillery is one lucky recipient and has big plans for expansion and growth.
Dozens of casks of whiskey stacked up high. Artisan spirits company Scapegrace is toasting the government after being provided with a $2.9 million convertible loan. The funding will assist the business in building a new distillery and hospitality facility in Cromwell. Minister of Regional Development Kiritapu Allen says she's proud of the government's investment.
With this upgrade to the facilities and just the capacity that you've got to to take it to a completely different level. Gosh, we're excited for you, and it's an absolute privilege to be able to stand alongside you.
Scapegrace says the investment will allow the business to increase its production capacity from 30,000 litres a year to more than 500,000 litres of spirits.
Have the courage to turn aspirations and whims and dreams into, cold hard steel and barrels full of goodies.
The loan will come out of the Central Otago Regional Development Fund with the goal of diversifying the region's economic reliance on tourism.
We can turn dirt into something that an entire region, and indeed actually the entire country, can be pretty damn proud of.
Backers of the project hope the distillery project will bring new jobs and opportunities to the Central Otago region. In Wanaka, the South Today.
The future of drinking could be shifting away from booze, with a growing number of non-alcoholic beverages now on the market. A new bottle store in Invercargill is doubling down on that trend, giving Kiwis a new way to think about drink.
Beverages everywhere, but no alcohol to be found. Altered is Invercargill's newest bottle store and bar, with a twist. It's alcohol-free. The business is owned by local woman Kelly Blomfield, who opened the store in December. Some residents doubted whether such an enterprise could succeed, but 4 months on, the business is thriving.
A lot of people, for a lot of reasons, choose not to drink now, and having access to heaps of cool products has been greatly received. People love it.
Fed up by the difficulty and inconvenience of sourcing alcohol-free drinks on the web, she decided to create her own solution.
I love ordering online, but I'm kind of an instant gratification person, and I want to be able to grab something on my way home. And I kept waiting for somebody to open a shop, surely somebody's going to do it one day, and it just wasn't happening. So I thought, well, I'll do it myself.
The lineup's more diverse than the fizzy drinks you might be thinking of. Her store showcases sophisticated no or low alcohol craft beverages, which have been designed to mimic the taste of RTDs, spirits, wines and beers. She says a number of other stores are already looking to replicate the concept of Altered, as the market for non-alcoholic beverages continues to grow. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Arrowtown played host to a festival with a twist last weekend, as more than 800 people gathered to enjoy New Zealand's first international gin festival. Distilleries from around the world were pouring their best, and for many fans of the bitter beverage, a tall mixed drink in the sun proved to be just the tonic.
Gin, gin and more gin is on the menu, as the inaugural International Gin Festival kicks off in Arrowtown. Over 800 punters from across the country came to the heart and soul of New Zealand's gin production over Friday and Saturday to get a taste of unique gins from New Zealand, Italy, the UK and Australia.
Sorry, Hayman's from the UK, Ginato from Italy, Four Pillars from Australia. So it is an international gin festival, but a huge focus is on the supreme quality of New Zealand gin that we produce here.
The festival boasts a strong musical lineup along with a variety of cocktails and G&Ts, bringing in local talent Sam Maxwell, Gypsia and Sweet Mix Kids. No two gins taste the same, with 25 international and homebrew distilleries, each showing off their own unique twist on the Dutch drink.
Our signature gin is our orchard gin, uses kawa and pear.
We have a lemon verbena gin, which uses the lemon verbena leaf rather than citrus, and it gives kind of like green tea-like qualities.
Festival organiser Sam Carter hopes to make the festival an annual event, bringing love to the old mining town and distilleries across central Otago. In Arrowtown, the South Today.
Another high-tech aerospace project is getting off the ground, this time in Christchurch. Kia Aerospace has demonstrated the first version of its solar-powered Atmos plane with huge implications for aerial imaging.
Flying high and making a big impression, Kia Aerospace has more than taken off. Mark Rocket and his team formed Kia Aerospace in Canterbury in 2018. They've been working on a stratospheric flying aircraft that can stay aloft for weeks on end. The idea led to the creation of the company's first-generation solar-powered unmanned aircraft, with a variety of applications in observation and telecommunications.
So this is the Kia Atmos Mark 1. It's the first solar-powered stratospheric aircraft designed and built in the Southern Hemisphere.
Rocket says existing methods of obtaining detailed imagery of the Earth are expensive, environmentally unfriendly and limited in range.
People just aren't getting the high resolution imagery that they need. So operating in the stratosphere at about 20 kilometres altitude or 65,000 feet, which is where we'll be operating with our Mark II aircraft, that's really a great place for us to capture the high resolution images that people need.
Rocket says their equipment includes cloud-penetrating sensors, revealing valuable intel for research and for those dealing with natural or man-made disasters. Ultimately, Rocket and his team would like to build a global fleet of aircraft, capturing high-resolution data continuously all around the world. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Swimmers braved the cold in Queenstown last weekend, shivering their way through the open water. The Whakatipu Legend Marathon swim saw hundreds take to the lake for the long-distance competition, battling through the challenges of Mother Nature.
Splashing through the chilly lake as the Whakatipu Legend Marathon swim gets underway in Queenstown. 230 brave souls took on the lake, competing across 5 long-distance categories: the 1 kilometre Grove, the 2 kilometre Bay, the 3.8 kilometre Legend, the 5 kilometre Haki Te Kaura, and for its first year, the 10 kilometre Whakatipu Waimaori. Competitors of all ages started their swim at Calvin Grove or Cecilia Peak, following the buoy checkpoints through the 11-degree water.
It was good. It's cold.
It was cold for
initially,
the first few minutes. Yeah. Very cold face.
Starting their race at 7:30 to 9 a.m, swimmers were met with some challenges of rain and choppy water, but eased off as the day went on.
What I've heard is, because I couldn't see over there, but I heard it was quite rough. And so we had people coming up the finish line saying, that was such a rough swim, and people going, that was awesome.
Harder doing the long backstretch, it was a bit more of a swell.
Good, it was choppy around as you come into the narrows, but then after there, super calm and it was enjoyable.
With the Whakatipu Challenge growing in popularity across the country, the 2024 race will be held in Queenstown Bay, with a surprise feature of one famous local boat. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Whaiakane, still to come on Southern Newsweek. Some of the best rally drivers got a taste of Dunedin mud on a warm-up drive ahead of Otago Rally. And a Southern athlete shares her personal story of losing a limb and how she now supports others. Tēnā koe, welcome back. Motorsport superstars made their way to Dunedin as drivers rev into action ahead of this weekend's Otago Rally.
Competitors took to gravel roads for their first practice run before the big weekend, which is the season opener for the New Zealand Rally Championships. The event attracts drivers from around the world and even from other sports, with BMX star Sarah Walker getting behind the wheel as the celebrity driver this year. There's also a strong local lineup, including Dunedin's Emma Gilmore, who'll be debuting her new Citroen C3 Rally 2 car at the event. An impressive 116 teams have entered this year, boosted by the return of international competitors, which brings numbers back to what they were before COVID-19.
It's just great to see the whole rally community here. It's great to see the internationals back. It just provides a real buzz. We get a lot of promotion for Dunedin, and it's just great to be part of.
The 3-day Otago Rally hits the road on Friday, with a ceremonial start in the Octagon. It'll be followed by a weekend of hard racing around the district, covering more than 250 kilometres. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Queenstown is becoming known worldwide as a mountain biking mecca. Now an American documentary crew are on the ground scouting talent for a new free riding tour with the potential to boost the local scene, taking it to the next level.
Catching big air on camera, this American crew are here shooting for a new documentary, The Search for the Proving Grounds, New Zealand. The film follows pro mountain bikers together with Red Bull Rampage founder Todd Barber as they scout locations in Queenstown and Wanaka for the 2024 Proving Grounds Tour. The event has been hosted in the United States for the past 3 years and gives up-and-coming riders a chance to make a name for themselves on the big stage alongside pro athletes.
Proving Grounds is a new freeride competition that came together in 2019 that kind of fills the gap between, say, Crankworks kind of slopestyle and Rampage.
Local Kiwi riders have jumped at the chance to be a part of the action, joining big names such as recently retired Brett Reeder on the slopes, with their tricks being captured on camera.
I think it's pretty sick that Proving Grounds is looking at coming to New Zealand. As you can see tonight, like the community of freeriders here is huge. Like this is just Queenstown that's come out tonight and it's massive.
The filmmakers hope to release their documentary this June, with the Proving Grounds tour itself making its way to Queenstown in February 2024. In Queenstown, the South Today.
The amputation of a leg 3 years ago encouraged one Southland athlete to start sharing her journey online. Melanie McGowan became a disability advocate, sharing a series of videos and personal blog that's become a resource for other amputees.
The wheels just keep on turning for Southland sportswoman Melanie McGowan, and the elite para-athlete wants to see more amputees on the podium. McGowan was forced to have her leg removed in 2020 after a series of misdiagnosed symptoms resulted in a complete loss of circulation past her knee. But that didn't end her active lifestyle. The international triathlete also took up blogging, sharing her personal journey online through writing and video, aiming to encourage other people with disabilities to get into sport.
When I got my running blade, which is in the hallway, which I'm still figuring out how to use, I was the first one in Otago, Southland to have a running blade, and I was like, "What the heck? There must be other people that are disabled. Why are they not doing sport?"
She believes the system for supporting the mobility of new amputees lacks basic information, particularly around access to sporting opportunities and prosthetic limbs.
I just wish it wasn't such a battle for me and for everyone else. And maybe that's why there's such a high dropout with people not returning to sport after an injury like that, or any type of injury, because there's just nothing to support them.
She's been contacted by a number of people going through similar experiences who found her story a helpful resource. She's keen to see better support for networking between amputees, so people can learn from others who've faced similar challenges.
There should be a way of hooking people up with other people that know what they're talking about. And I'm not just talking about me and some other Joe blogs, I'm not talking about right across the system.
McGowan's next big hurdle is the Wanaka Aquabike Challenge next February. By completing the 3-kilometre swim and 120-kilometre cycle, she's hoping to demonstrate to other amputees that the race doesn't end at disability. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Canterbury singer-songwriter Miranda Easton is making waves in the music industry, gaining airplay on country music channels in Australia and the United States. But the road hasn't been easy for her, with the artist recently opening up about her lifelong battle with agoraphobia.
Aiming to take the music world by storm. From humble beginnings writing music in her bedroom, Canterbury singer-songwriter Miranda Easton is now achieving musical success on the world stage. The 35-year-old doesn't like to be pigeonholed into any one music genre, but admits to a leaning towards country music. Easton released her debut album Behind Unbroken Strings in 2021.
My music video for View From Here, which has been really well received in the States.
And she admits it hasn't been an easy road to success.
I do have anxiety. I recently sort of came out as letting everyone know I have agoraphobia, and some of the things that people find really easy or don't even think about, I find a little bit more challenging.
Agoraphobia is a fear of being in situations where escape might be difficult. She's learnt techniques to help limit her anxiety attacks, but says she feels different when she's on stage.
There is an element of acting and performing, and when you're acting, you're not you, so it's liberating, it's freeing.
Easton's currently working on her second album and is hoping to tour Australia and the United States later this year. In Southland, the South Today.
That wraps up this edition of Southern Newsweek. For the latest news and videos from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube and the South Today NZ on Facebook to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again next week. Mā te wā.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.